Hey, my fasting friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Gabrielle Amy's and I'm an intermittent fasting coach. And today we're going to talk about bad breath. Yes, lots of you have written to me and said, what do I do when I'm fasting or even not fasting? I wake up in the morning and my breath smells and then it smells throughout the day. This is quite a common problem with people, especially with intermittent fasters, is because they're going for long periods without eating. And this is causing bacteria to build up in the mouth and on the tongue primarily. And what most people didn't know, that the root cause of most bad breath is the actual root of the tongue. So if you stick your tongue out, often you'll see like a white film over the tongue. This is a buildup of debris and bad bacteria on the tongue. So it is really important that each day, if you want to have good breath and good oral health, is to remove that. And the safest and best way to do this is with a tongue scraper. Now, this is an ancient Ayurvedic practice. Tongue scrapers have been used for centuries in the Middle East, in India, in South America, and in Africa. And it's basically a form of scraping off the bad bacteria, the debris from your tongue. So initially they used to use like shell or whalebone or the bark of a neem tree, a twig bark from the neem tree. But now, with modern civilization, we have now a metal tongue scraper, and these are really readily available. You can buy them on Amazon, you can buy them at iHerb, or you can just go down to your local yoga studio, because often they have a shop with tongue scrapers. Traditionally, they're made of copper. That's my favorite, is a copper, because it has like antibacterial properties. But also very popular is stainless steel, which are also equally as good. Or you can even get silver if you really want to lash up. They generally cost about $11 to $30. I just bought one on iHerb. I think it was $15, and it comes with like a little plastic grip handles. And what you do is every morning when you wake up, you stick your tongue out and you scrape the scraper 3 to 4 times down your tongue, removing the debris, and then really rinse that carefully. If you have a copper scraper, make sure you really rinse it carefully and dry it, because it will tarnish, as unlike the stainless steel won't tarnish. But it is very important that once you've removed all this bad bacteria that's causing you to have the smelly breath, is that you clean that tongue scraper very religiously to make sure you're not reinfecting your mouth again, putting back the same bad bacteria back into your mouth and affecting your oral health and your gut health, because it is all linked to that. Have you ever been to a naturopath or a doctor and they say, stick your tongue out? That's what they're looking for. It's an indication of your overall health when they look at your tongue, because it will show basically what your stomach, what your oral health's like. It can be linked to heart disease and even cancer. So it's really important to keep that tongue clean. And you can do this about 3 times a day. So do it first up in the morning, and then again around lunchtime, and again just before you go to bed. The other really good practice is another ancient Ayurvedic Indian practice of using 2 fingers. So clean these 2 fingers well in the morning and stick them right down to the root of your tongue, and just swivel it around a couple of times and remove any mucus, and then straight away rinse the mouth out and spit out anything. What this does is you do it until you feel like you're about to gag, about your throw up, and this causes your stomach to contract and helps with your digestive health and your bowel movements. So that's another really good trick. And it also helps remove and dislodge any mucus caught at the back of the tongue. You only need to do this once a day, just first thing in the morning. Then use your tongue scraper and then brush your teeth as usual. If you don't have a tongue scraper, or you're waiting for one like I am, because I lost my last one in India, basically use your toothbrush, but make sure you do it in one movement so you're not kind of reinfecting your mouth, pushing the bad bacteria back further down your throat. So just do that a few times, and don't do it too hard, because the bristles can actually irritate your tongue. So that is a really good key tip to help with bad breath, especially when you're fasting because you're going through long periods without eating. And another good tip is to get a couple of tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Get the one with the mother and put a couple of tablespoons in a big glass of water and rinse and gargle your mouth out with that. But make sure straight after that, because it's highly acidic, you don't want to ruin all the enamel on your teeth. Make sure you brush your teeth after you do any gargling with apple cider vinegar. You only need to do that once a day too. Another thing is called oil pulling. And that is where you can use either like an organic olive oil or an organic coconut oil and get 1 to 2 tablespoons and put that in your mouth and hold it in your mouth and literally just swoosh it around your mouth. And this helps remove and dissolve in the oil any debris in your mouth. Now you're meant to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes each morning. I think 5 minutes is really enough. Try and swish around for 10 minutes. It's a long time. So 5 minutes is a good trick, and try and do that maybe once a week as well. Another tip is to get some fresh mint, just a couple of leaves, and chew that. That is really, really good for your digestive health. Helps freshen the breath, and it has many medicinal properties, fresh mint does. But a good tip after that is to rinse your mouth out with water and spit out, because you don't want bits of green mint stuck all between your teeth for the rest of the day, because that's not a very nice look, is it? So if you've got any tips for fresh breath, as well as obviously brushing your teeth, which is very important, please let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear how you keep your breath fresh during intermittent fasting, because a lot of people are afraid to use just commercial mouthwash. Because think about it, here you are doing something so fantastic. You're getting, your in autophagy, you're getting rid of all the old and damaged cells and toxins out the body. The last thing you want to do is be putting a commercial mouthwash in your mouth, swishing that around with all of the chemicals. It's straight on an empty stomach. It's probably not the best thing to do. So use one of these other tips that I've told you. And the other thing is keep drinking loads of water, because when you're intermittent fasting, you wake up in the morning with a dry mouth. And the best way to relieve this is to just swish and drink lots of water throughout the day. So there you have it. I've given you lots of tips on what to do to keep a fresh breath always during fasting and just in general. And the main key is the tongue scraper, doing that at least once a day, up to 3 times a day, removing all of that old debris and bad bacteria off the tongue and helping with your overall health and your oral health and cavities and your gum health. So thank you very much for watching. I will come back to you later in the week with another fantastic tip for intermittent fasting. And later on in November, we are going to do a challenge of a 95-hour fast. So last week, if you were watching, I did 7 videos on my 91-hour intermittent fast. It's the longest fast I've ever done, and I did do it, and I felt fantastic. So my next challenge is a 95-hour fast. I won't be doing that till November. So I'm just going to keep building up to that, doing 20 hours, 40 hours, 48 hours. So maybe start trying now, pushing out the fast a bit longer, doing a little bit longer fast. So you can join me on my 95-hour intermittent fasting challenge in November. I'll be letting you know the dates I'm going to be doing it. Let me know in the comments how you're going and any other topics you'd like me to cover about the fantastic benefits of intermittent fasting. Bye from me, Gabrielle Amy's your intermittent fasting coach.